Hello everyone, welcome back to my orchid and plant life. I am going to apologize ahead of time if my supervisor starts growling and making little barks. There are people walking by the window and he does not like it. So today, if you remember on the Cherry Baby update that we did earlier, I'll post the video up above and in the description, but I had said I was going to add some moss to my little mix here because I didn't see any roots. Well, I spoke too soon. I do see some new root growth in here, but I'm still going to add the moss because where she hangs, it is a little windy and this moss dries out really, really quickly. I do soak it twice a day, but then the bark will break down quicker. So I'm going to go ahead and add the moss, and then when I go to bring her in later on this year, I will do a cleanup of her, kind of a repot, because the moss I'm using is the moss I'm not real fond of. And in addition to that, because I had read that Vandas are heavy feeders during the growing season, I'm going to add a few slow release fertilizer pellets into the mix as well to see if maybe that doesn't help as well. And we'll put about 10 in there. All right, and I've already got the moss here in this bowl, and I'm just going to, first I'm going to move the tag, I'm just going to dump the media into the bowl, mix it up, and then just put it right back into the orchitop pot. And I went ahead and I'm sterilizing the fiskars as well. This way, if there's any roots that need to be cleaned up, we can go ahead and take care of that and set her up for the best success for the rest of the growing season. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I need to apologize to my little Vanda. Look at this. I said she didn't have any root tips. Look at this. Let me put it in the other hand so I can show you. Look at all those beautiful root tips coming. Look at that. And this one is the only one that, and this one, there's only those two that need to be cut off. So let's just go ahead and do that. And there. Okay, well, I guess I owe her an apology, because she is actually doing rather well. And I think I'm going to clip the tip of this one because it is a little brown. Actually, it's still brown. Let's see if I can cut into green. There it is. All right. And then I will leave that, and hopefully that will encourage that one to grow new roots. Oh, and she's got a whole brand new root just coming out right there. Oh my goodness. I owe her a big apology. I said she wasn't doing anything, but she was. And I think a lot of it had to do with I just wasn't giving her the water that she needed, because I do believe, seeing as how small these are, I do believe this is from me watering her twice a day and keeping her a little more moist longer. So I think adding this moss in there is going to be very beneficial to her. And since the update, I don't know if you can see that, but she has a new leaf coming in as well. So she's been a busy little beaver out there, and I did not even give her that credit. So let me just get this all mixed up here. Actually, I'm going to put some of the moss down at the bottom because I do leave water in the reservoir, and then this way it can just kind of absorb, mix in all together. So our update next month should have more progress on our Vanda Pearl Cooper. And I did a little more research on her heritage because she is crossed with Fuchs Sunrise. So it's Fuchs Sunrise crossed with Fuchs Gold. And the parents of both of those have, a lot of them have light green, the parents, the grandparents. So her heritage has a lot of lighter green. So maybe when she was in my house, she just wasn't getting enough light to give her those lighter colors. And I just assumed that it was because she was outside. But I think that's how she's supposed to look. I think they should be a little bit darker, but not as dark as I'm expecting them to be, just because of the heritage that she has. All right, let's see. Can we put her about? So I'm going to put her here first, and then I will raise her up as we go. And then I'll make sure there's some moss around the base, not too much, because and then I'll cover that with bark. Okay, let's put her more in the center there. Alrighty. And then that piece, that root that I cut, I'll try to keep it up above, or at least put some bark around it instead of moss, because I don't want it to rot. But the moss is now all through the pot, and then that should help, like I said, with moisture retention a little bit longer, so that when I do water her, it stays for the bulk of the day instead of drying out by mid-morning. Because, and it's always windy on that spot on my porch. I don't understand why. It can be still all over the place, and you stand right there and you get a little breeze, which is nice when it's warm outside and I'm doing my gardening outside, which I did do today. I got my little beds, put some mulch out, tidied them up a little bit, cleaned up the, it's not a petunia, can't think of what it's called now, but the little annual flower basket that I got to put in the front. There we go. She was a little too far on this side. Wanted her a little more centered. There we go. Oh, look, there's a rock. I don't know where that rock came from, but there we are. All right, so there she is, and I will run water through here just to kind of settle everything down and to carry her through the rest of today. And it'll be a good test as well to see if this moss is needed. If it is, I'll probably, when I repot her again before I bring her in at the end of the growing season. And you're probably thinking, well, why are you gonna repot her? Well, I have a thing about it. I don't want bugaroos. So I'm just gonna repot her to make sure there's no bugs in the media to bring inside. I'm gonna do the same thing with my cymbidium, which I'll add a clip at the end of this video, because I did put my cymbidium outside, and the growth that it had when it went out there is doing marvelous, but I have some new growths out there, so I'm a little excited. So I'll just add a quick clip of that to the end of this video just to kind of show you guys. She's supposed to be red. It's the California Dreamin'. All right, so there we have it. See all the moss in there, so we should see lots and lots of roots next month with all that new root growth now that she's got more moisture in there. So first, I'll apologize for any car noises. Like I've stated before, I do live on a busy street, but this is where the Vanda Pearl Cooper hangs. And as you can see, it's just swinging along, and it's been about 20 minutes since I put her out here, so she should be still for me messing with her, but it's just a little breeze through here. But I said I was going to show you the cymbidium. So here she is. Let me come down here. So it is the Cymbidium California Dreamin', and when I put her out here, it was just this growth right here, which since she's been out here, she has put on 1, 2, 3, 4, and working on 5, and I don't see anything in there yet, but we have a new growth here, we have a new growth here, and looking earlier today, let me just zoom in just a little bit here, we have a new growth coming there. So she probably still won't bloom because she was near flowering size, but she is getting nice and full, and I'm gonna have to figure out where I'm gonna put her when I bring her inside. And then look at the echeveria. Oh my goodness. I just want to show you this too. Look at that. I had to turn her around because this one was extending out, so I'm hoping that this one will too, to kind of even it out. And then of course, once I bring her in the winter time, she's going to be green, but right now she's just gorgeous. All right guys, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.